Hello and welcome to a live stream of X-Plane 12. Today we're at a very rainy Edinburgh. As you can see, we're just looking from under the cloud base here, which is quite low, down on the airfield where we'll be flying a Challenger 650 from Edinburgh to Manchester. The Hotstart Challenger 650, which is waiting for us on the tarmac. So let's go down and see the aircraft. Here she is. On a not great early evening in Edinburgh, ready for our departure to Manchester. Quite a busy airfield today. The weather's not great, and that usually means people come out to play in VATSIM. Bit of a crosswind by the look of it. We'll check the weather in just a moment. We'll get inside the aircraft first. So we're flying in VR, as I mentioned, which brings with it all kinds of issues that you wouldn't ordinarily encounter in normal mode. First of those problems is getting stuff into the cockpit, so we have a manner of things which we'll go through as we use them here. So we are connected to VATSIM. Let's just get ourselves going here. So VATSIM have an ATIS 131.355, but in the Challenger we should be able to get a digital ATIS going. So let's start by programming our FMC, I think, here. We've got the APU running, we've done all the outside checks, not easy to do in VR, so we're kind of ready for engine start here. That's where we've kind of left the Challenger, but still a lot of work to do. So let's start with the FMC here, 3 of them, one there, and one down here. So let's start by swapping over those databases to make it current. We've now got September 23 to October 23 as the active database. We can lose that message. Pause init we don't need to do, but we can do. Bring our current position down, and we'll now go to our index page, route menu, flight plan recall, and we'll recall our flight plan from SimBrief, which the 650 does beautifully. That number I'm putting in there, 650, is the number I've told SimBrief to react to, basically. So we'll send that. The request is now pending. And over here on the other FMC we can try and get an ATIS if possible. So we go data link, ATIS, departure ATIS, and we want EGPH. Which we have. We'll send that and wait for it to come back. Hopefully they'll have a digital ATIS here today. They do. Lovely. Our flight plan is now back. Data link flight plan is loaded in the secondary flight plan. We activate that and we execute it. Okay, and today we're looking, this is our SimBrief flight plan here. Another great add-on, SimBrief OFP, which beautifully works in VR. We can look at the flight plan, we can look at the actual load sheet and all kinds of other stuff. So a beautiful thing to have in VR. Today we've got Edinburgh 06 departure on the Gossam 1 Delta. So let's put that in. Departure, Gossam 1 Delta, runway 06, execute. And arrival today, at the moment, it's a Lakey 1 Mike into runway 23 right. So let's add that for now. Lakey 1 Mike into runway 23 right via vectors, which is what we'll be expecting. Look at the legs page, check any weird discontinuities. No, we just got one there, which is from Rosen to the fix of the ILS, so that's perfect. That'll be a vector. So now we can set the perf up of the aircraft. Perf init. The fuel, we will sense the fuel from the tanks, which should be 4330. So we hit clear delete, put that over the fuel, 4330. There we go. Passengers today. Let's have a look here what we've got loaded. 5 passengers, 75 kilos of cargo. So 5 passengers goes in there, 75 kilos of cargo goes in there. Flying today, flight level 330, see there. Execute that. Our takeoff parameters now, which will require the wind. So we can pop these instruments out, which is very useful. Have that there. This is Edinburgh information, November. Runway news 06, as we knew. Surface wind 340 degrees 7 knots. So 3407 goes in there. Outside air temperature, next page. Temperature is +8 and the QNH is very low, 984. So 8 degrees and 984, which we will set. Let's get rid of that pop-up now out of the way. We'll set that here, 984. I'm doing this from an external controller with buttons and knobs. It's called an X-Touch MIDI. I've got 2 of those, which is absolutely perfect for flying in VR. 984 set there. We need 984 up here on the standby. Very low. Good. That gives us an airfield elevation around 100 feet. That propagates across to this one, 984 we have. Okay, continuing with this then. So that's done. Runway ID 6, 3407 knots, 8 degrees, 984. Next, centre of gravity trim we set at 21 for now. That's just, the Challenger doesn't actually use that, but we put in an arbitrary number of 21. And we'll hit send. Those V-speeds will turn magenta. They will then propagate to here on the PFD, so we have a V rotate today of 124 knots. So that's the first bit of that done. Our perf is done. We can now get the winds en route, which is another great feature here. If I go route menu again, we can say flight plan wind update and send. That will bring back the downloaded winds for our route that we've put in. Sometimes takes a while, so we can get on with other stuff. So yes, we're looking here at an absolutely invaluable program for VR. It's called Open Kneeboard. It enables me to not only see VR stuff in the cockpit, so from an outside source, this is a notepad, and it even allows us to see external applications. And we have 2 knee pads active, and just by looking at them we can expand those. So it's absolutely brilliant. I can flick between my various knee pads here. And that's just totally invaluable. I can reset the position of those little icons over there. So, exec flight plan mod, that means the winds are down, we've got that. Okay, that's good. Now, let's just go back a second to that ATIS information that we had. Data link ATIS. We've got information November and it's 06. Now, here's the brilliant thing that I can actually write on this pad. I physically have a pad in front of me, a Wacom pad, so I can write information November, runway 06. Not the greatest writing of November there, is it? I can rub that out. There you go, November 06, QNH is 984. So if that changes, we can amend it, 984 millibars. Great, let's see where we are in the world. Get the airport charts up for Edinburgh, 10.9. We're on the north apron. Let's have a look at the actual stands here. I think we're stand 200. We are. We're up in this corner here, so we're at stand 200. So we can tell him that. down 200. Okay, so we can now tune in. So look what we got here. Centre. Looks like we've lost all the Edinburgh controllers. They were there earlier. Yeah, certainly looks that way. Just check that. We can check it here, hopefully. Yes, they've just gone, in fact. So that's VAT glasses, which again is another very useful thing to look at. That shows you the controllers in your region, and if you put your tracking as your VAT sim number on the right there, where it says tracking here. Let me get the mouse and I'll show you here. Oh, you can't really see it, but on the right hand side here, where it says tracking 810917, that's my VAT sim number, and then VAT glasses will track your flight and will actually show you who you should be talking to. It's rather brilliant. So that's the moment you'll see it says displaying sectors at 500 feet, which is basically because we're on the ground and there's nobody to talk to. So that's why we can't see an Edinburgh controller. So off to Unicom we go then. 122.8 is Unicom. I'll put that in there. Okay. All good. We can, so as I say, we're ready to start. We've done all the other checks of the Challenger, so we can run the before start checklist. This, by the way, if you've never seen it before, is Avitab. I think most people who've used X-Plane will know this very well. Great for VR again, but also great for non-VR. Get up your Navigraph charts on it, and there are all kinds of other stuff, maps, notes, checklists, very useful. Avitab, and again, free. That's free. This app, OpenEboard here, is free. SimBrief OFP is free, so all good. Right, so let's do our start checklist then. Just finish off this one.
Flight compartment checklist complete.
Okay.
Engine start checklist next. Engine start checklist. Doors.
Roger. Doors are closed. Passenger door closed.
Parking brake and pressure
Is set.
Fuel quantity and balance.
We have 2190, 2120 and 4310 is checked.
Checked. Beacon.
Can come on the overhead.
On. Fuel boost pumps.
They are here and they can both come on.
On. Ignition.
We'll select ignition A or B. We'll get A today.
Engine 2 start.
Hold down the button. It lights up. We look for an N2 of around 20%. Then we add fuel. There goes the fuel. Should see an N1 rise and an ITT rise. Let's wait for that to stabilize.
Fuel system.
Okay, wants a fuel system check. So we're just going to turn fuel boost pumps off. We get a right and left fuel pump off. We get a hydraulic 1 low pressure and a left fuel low pressure, which is what we are expecting to see. So that is all good. That's here. So you can come back on again. So that's checked.
Checked. Engine 1 start.
So same thing for engine 1. Our left engine, hit the start button. We get a start light. We look for N2 with 20%, which we have. Add the fuel and let the engine stabilize. Checking everything is good with the stream, which it seems to be. Incidentally, I am confirming these checklist items with a foot pedal. It's a Stream Deck foot pedal, which I can then assign to a key command. So I'm pressing a foot pedal and it moves those checklists on, or I can do it on my throttle with another button which I've assigned here.
Engine start checklist complete.
Roger.
After start checklist, next.
Just make sure again there's no controllers which there aren't. Quick check on VAT glasses. No, Edinburgh's clear. So after start checklist.
After start checklist. Generator 1 and 2.
Can come on. There's 2
On,
and 1.
checked AC and DC. Ignition.
Can come off.
Disarmed. Packs. On. 14th stage.
Don't know why we have a start light there. It shouldn't be there, that. Ah, we've not had a good start on the engine. That's why. Okay, let's put ignition A on. Okay. Ah, we didn't add fuel like an idiot. I'm sure we added fuel there. There we are. Always worth checking. See that stabilize now. That's now stabilized. 2, 4, 6. That's good. That's better. Ignition is off. Okay, 14th stage. Generator 1, we need to reset. That's good, that's done. Okay, 14th stage, we can open those.
Open.
That's
Flight
a bleed.
controls.
Flight controls are full and free.
Checked. Ground spoilers.
Just moving a bit here. Ground spoilers we have in auto.
Checked. Stowed. Auto. Flight spoilers.
Flight spoilers, they're on the throttle. That's working good.
Checked. Stowed. Fuel balance.
2100, 2190 is good.
Checked. Trims.
Trim, stabilizer trim, bring it down to about, I like it to be about 4.7, just under what 5 works for me. That's checked.
3 set for takeoff. No steer.
Is armed.
APR.
Is here. Control the testing. APR test 2 okay. Hard to actually hold that down and look at it at the same time, unfortunately, but there we are.
Checked. Armed. 14th stage isolation valve.
Checked.
Checked. ATS.
Auto throttle system, so we press our reset button on the side of the throttle.
N1 TO.
We get
ATC
TO
TCAS.
and N1 TO. TCAS will squawk 2000 and we'll go to on.
TARA. After start checklist complete. Taxi checklist.
Alrighty. So let's get the PFD set up. So firstly the speed here for departure. I'm going to set that up at 190 knots. Heading we will synchronize when we get to the runway. Let's have a look at the SID here. We've got no controllers. There is a 6,000 restriction on the SID, so we'll put that for now. And we'll have nav selected as our mode. So just to check here, we've got a V speed of 124, 190 knots. LNAV is armed, alt is armed, takeoff, 6,000 on the SID, 984 is checked, and we have our path following FMS1. That's correct. Okay. Looking good. This program here is Sky Demon, which is a real-world flying program, which works beautifully in not only Flight Simulator but X-Plane as well. It's we've got a taxi out to 06. So we will do that. Yeah, so it's going to be a left turn. Looking over here, I have a tab. There's the threshold of 06. It's quite a long taxi.
The traffic FedEx 57 heading taxi to 06.
Let's start the turn out of here. Parking brake released. Slowly advance the throttles. And we'll do our taxi checklist.
Taxi checklist. Taxi lights. On. Wing and cowl anti-ice.
Not required.
Norm on or off. Brakes and steering.
Check that now. Right brake, left brake, steering, turning right, heading increasing, turning left, heading decreasing. That's checked.
Checked. Reverse thrust.
Reverse thrust is armed.
Checked. Flaps 20. Altimeters. Set and cross-checked. Radar weather. On. Takeoff briefing.
It's done. Let's get the departure here. Gosser 1 Delta. Departure, Gossam 1 Delta. So to brief this, we're departing from 06, making a left turn out, climbing to 6,000 to be at Gossam by 6,000. It's done.
Reviewed. Taxi checklist complete.
Okay.
Before takeoff checklist next.
We can talk to the other traffic now. There's the FedEx. Edinburgh traffic, November 8 for Victor, taxiing to 06, and we'll taxi behind the FedEx, moving from our left to right. No, we can't get out of here, so it's going to be right turning all the way down there. There's the landing aircraft. Horrible day.
Edinburgh traffic, Blue Max 41 Lima Delta, 12.5 mile final for ILS 06.
Okay. And there we have it. There's an EasyJet just landed to our right. There's the FedEx up ahead. And there's some traffic on the 12-mile final we've just heard. Looking good. Back inside the cockpit. Still before takeoff checks.
Before takeoff checklist. Passenger signs. Advised on. Anti-collision light. On. Pros. On. Windshield heat. On. Wing and cowl anti-ice.
Not required.
Norm on or off. Continuous ignition. On. ATC TCAS. TARA. CAS. Takeoff config OK.
A firm.
Checked. Landing, pulse, recog lights. On. Before takeoff checklist complete. After takeoff checklist next.
Okay, all good. As we're new to the streaming, this is in fact our first stream, we're going to just check the stream looks okay, which it does. Back to our classes.
Edinburgh traffic, Blue Max 41 Lima Delta, 5 mile final, runway 06. Edinburgh traffic, FedEx 57 heavy, we'll hold short 06 for incoming traffic.
Okay. We'll hold short behind that FedEx. There comes the incoming traffic. X-plane looking good. Lovely.
Edinburgh traffic, FedEx 579 up on way in 06.
And Edinburgh traffic, November 84 Victor to the hold, Alpha 1 behind the FedEx. Shame there's no control, it's quite busy.
Edinburgh traffic, Blue Max 41 Lima Delta, vacated runway 06.
Okay, so that's at the hold. So let's have a quick look at this again. Don't need that one. Departure, immediate left turn onto heading of 257 degrees, climbing to 6,000. With no ATC, so we're not really restricted on that climb, so we can actually ignore that restriction. So we'll delete the restriction there. And we'll just go all the way up to 330, which I think was our filed level. Just check. 330.
Edinburgh traffic, November 84 Victor lining up, runway 06.
That's a weird lighting thing that X-Plane sometimes does when the light changes. Very odd. It's allegedly being fixed, as are many other things.
Edinburgh traffic has got 2205 pushing back from stand 9 faces west.
Okay, there goes the FedEx. Slight wind from the left. Give him some time. Okay, we're ready to go. So landing lights are on. We're squawking lights, camera and action. Rotate speed is 124. Just give him enough time.
Edinburgh traffic, FedEx 57 clear, 06 passing 4000, turning right southbound.
Edinburgh traffic, November 84 Victor, just rolling 06 on a Gotham departure.
Edinburgh traffic from the 677.
Okay. So forward pressure. Slight aileron into the wind.
80 knots.
80 knots. Release that forward pressure.
E1. Rotate.
And rotate. Up she comes. Gears coming up.
Positive rate. Gear up.
Follow the flight director.
Do you want me to hold? No, that's fine. We'll hold position for you. Thanks.
Passing 1,000 feet. Autopilot is engaged. VNAV. VNAV climb. Flaps up. There's Edinburgh behind us as we climb away. Okay. It's going to do that stop at 6 by the look of it, even though I told it not to. Oh, it's still hard-coded at 6. Clear. Clear that there and execute it. Now it should continue the climb to 330, which it is after takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist. Landing gear. Up. Flaps. 0. Thrust reversers. Off. Ignition. Off. Pressurization. Checked. PAX transition. completed. N1. Climb set. APU generator. Off. APU.
Okay, standard QNH.
Shut down.
013.
Passenger signs. On, offer, auto. CAS.
It's clear.
Clear. After takeoff checklist complete.
Roger. Okay, we're on our way. We can probably take a direct Gotham now. So we'll go direct to Gotham. Execute. Looking good. 1013 set, flight level 330, we're climbing at 270 knots under VNAV. Perfect. Okay. All good. And we'll just let that climb out nicely now and make that left turn at Gotham. There we are on the VAT glasses map. You can see a little aircraft there in orange. That's us, and there are no controllers online. They appear to have disappeared. And if you look on the right hand side of that map, it says displaying sectors at 15,500 feet, which is what we just passed. That means it's showing us the controllers that would be controlling our sector. So it's a very useful just change there to 17,500. So any that are higher level sectors would pop up there, and you wouldn't have to guess. It would just show you them. Very, very good indeed. Vatglasses.uk covers quite a bit of the world, mostly Europe, not all of it, but most of it, and pretty invaluable, particularly in VR flying. Okay, we can start thinking about Manchester now. We've left Edinburgh behind. So, EGCC. We're going to need... Just come off Unicom. Forward just 1 second. Stop the chatter. So, we've got Edinburgh ground there. We're going to need probably parking stands. 109A, a lot of them. Where will we try to end up? We'll try to end up at the business aviation apron there. That's good. We filed, doesn't look as any controllers at the moment, but we filed for departure arrival, EGCC arrival, Lake 1 Mike, ILS 23. So let's get that on board. Back. Arrival, Lakey 1 Mike, that's the boy. approaching from the northwest. Lakey Dizzy, that's us, and 23 right is what we'd currently planned, so let's put that in as our approach. ILSDME localizer 23 right, which we have. Now, because there's no ATC, I don't think we're going to get an Edinburgh, beg your pardon, a Manchester ATIS. But I'm going to put it in just in case the controller comes on. So what you can do, you can go to the data link page, go to the ATIS. Now you can request Manchester, EGCC, and you can request arrival ATIS and change that to start auto updates. Then if somebody does come on and they update their ATIS, you'll get that automatically. I don't think it's going to return one now because there are no controllers. We'll see. Let's see what it says. Ah, we do have one. That's fantastic. Somebody's put an ATIS up for Manchester, which is great. Fabulous. In which case, it's not a massively long flight. We can actually start entering that. Just watching here, we're climbing, passing flight level 290 for flight level 330. All good. So we'll look, see if we can see anybody in Edinburgh. Oh, we have an Edinburgh ground, that's why. Yeah, Edinburgh ATIS and Edinburgh ground, so he's providing that for us, which is great. So it's on an updatable one, but let's just put it in for now because we've got some time. So we can go to Perf menu, and then we go to the approach. We switch this over here, so it says Airport Manchester, very important point, don't forget to do that. It knows we're runway 23 right, so let's just pop this up so you can see it a little easier. And we're going to basically put the weather in here. The surface wind is 270 degrees at 5 knots, so that goes in 270 at 5. Outside air temperature, next page, is plus 11, so 11 degrees. QNH 985 hectopascals. 985. Put that in there. That will now allow us to calculate our landing speed. So we go next. We have some VREFs there. We can send those. They'll go magenta. They'll end up on the PFD, and we can view them as well here. So we've got a VREF of 131 for our arrival into Edinburgh, which is great. Back to our legs page. Now, while we are here, we've got information Yankee and advise aircraft type on first contact. We won't be talking to ground, but we have got information Yankee, so we could go down here to our arrival ATIS and we can type in, actually physically write information Yankee. We don't know the star yet or runway that we're going to be. At the moment we think we know what it is, but we've not been told by any air traffic controller any different, so at the moment we've got our own. Okay, sorry about that. I just had to go out of the headset for a second. One of the perils of VR, that there's not very much you can do if the real world calls while you're in VR. Right. Okay, looking good. Our top of descent is not too far away. Top of descent is after Bebney, so better start thinking about this. That glasses again. Doesn't seem to be updated. Oh, yes, it is. It's updating. That's good. So, MFD data, display menu, flight plan progress, and it's showing us our top of descent here in green. So you'll see it's 28 miles away. So let's see what's occurring here. Flight level 200 by Lakey. So we can actually now drop our level down to, let's see what goes past Lakey, 7,000 at Rosen, and probably go all the way down to 7 then. 7,000 at Rosen. Done. Again, remember, I'm not manipulating the controls up here. I've actually got rotary controls on my X-Touch controller and buttons, which I can use to do any of this. So if I want to, for example, center the heading bug, there we go, heading bug centered, I can move that left and right, as you can see there. And I've got a lot of stuff assigned on the Challenger. Incredibly useful. So let's have a look here at this arrival. Lakey 1 Mike, yeah, 200 by Lakey, flight level 70 by Rosen. Still only in Edinburgh ground, sadly, at the moment. Very useful program, that. You have to kind of learn to make do in VR, but that open kneeboard program has been a godsend. The one I'm looking at now, where we can draw stuff, we can look at outside apps. So there, for example, is Sky Demon. That's just an app running on Windows I can look at. No real penalty in VR in terms of frames per second. Well, I've not seen any. There's the restream chat. There's our notes. Oh no, that's not us. I thought the controller would come on then. We're just about to enter at the top of that shortly. So we're descending in just a moment, in fact, in 10 miles. You'll see our top of descent here in 10 miles. We'll start our descent checklist.
Descent checklist. Shoulder harness.
What we can do is quieten the aircraft down a bit here by putting these Bose headset on. There you go. A lot quieter. Shoulder harness is on.
Secure. Passenger signs.
Are fine.
On or auto. Pressurization.
It's set.
Set. Fuel quantity and balance.
We've got 1770, 1880.
Checked. FMS, landing data, charts.
Okay, let's do that. We need our minimums to be set, which are 449. That's the top of descent. So as long as we've set a lower altitude, the aircraft will now start to match this descent, this magenta bug here. That's the vertical path, and that's our vertical descent indicator, or VSI. So going down to just around 2,000 feet a minute, and descending now. All good. Okay, so refs, what we want Barrow. And we're going to make that 449, so 450 for cash. See here what we're doing, and that again is on a knob, so that's our refs set, our minimums. Escape that. Continue with the descent checklist.
Programmed set. Approach briefing.
Okay, we are approaching from Lakey to Dizzy to Rosen. There's Manchester. We're 2-3 right, so we're coming in, we're self-vectoring because at the moment there's no controllers, so we'll be coming kind of from the top left of this picture here. That's all good. We're briefed.
Reviewed. VNAV transition flight level.
It is usually 5 or 6 in the UK. 5. That's reviewed.
Set. Descent checklist complete.
And we can put in the
checklist next.
QNH of 985. You can pre-select it. That means the information has been updated. So now information Zulu, you see, is active. Still 2-3 right. And 280 degrees 7 knots. Pretty much what it was before. QNH 985 millibars, so we're just going to change that there. We can pre-select 985 if you look here. That's good, and we'll amend that when we get to a lower level. So we've now gone from information Yankee to information Zulu. We can actually rub that out if we're going to be pedantic about it. And go Zulu. And it's 2-3 right anyway, we know that. So this actually is, for those who may have missed it, is a pen, a physical a Wacom tablet, quite cheap, under £100 certainly. With a pen, and that works beautifully with open kneeboard. You can write, so I'll show you here, I can write anything I like basically, and I can erase that by holding down the button on there. Absolutely beautiful, brilliant for VR, where of course you can't write physically with a pen and a pad like you lucky people in the real world, or with 2D screens. Okay, so we're descending nicely back to our legs page. Just past Dean's Cross, DCS I think is, and towards Lakey. Still got only Manchester ground. That's borne out by that little diagram there. Let's just have a look at this weather. So, visibility is 10 kilometers or more, broken at 1,600 and broken at 2,600. So, a bit of cloud, very low level. Okay. Now the Challenger's next checklist is a very important one, which we do passing around 10,000 feet, and that's the in-range checklist, which requires a step that if you forget, you will lose the auto throttle, and that is all about giving it a performance. In the performance tab here, you need to give it a target in here, which we'll show you in just a moment. If you forget to do that, that's number one cause of people saying, why is my auto throttle system not working? Because it doesn't have a target. You can either put one in there manually or you can use the climb target, but they both must be, or one or either of them must be activated. Okay, we're at Lakey now, on our way down to 7,000, or flight level 70 in fact, to be precise. We can open up this map here so you can see this in more detail. go. Just making that left turn at Lakey. In terms of where we are in the world, just about to pass Morecambe on the west coast of the UK. That's Morecambe Bay. That blue patch of water that that is looking at there is Morecambe Bay here. And we're on our way down. Looking good. I think we'll go back to Unicom now. We need to start talking to any traffic that might be around us. One, 2, 2, 8. Just looking at this ground chart, we're arriving 23 right, which is this one here. We're going to make it the business aviation apron, so we want to come off at Bravo Delta, and it's an easy taxi for us. Should now be on this chart. There we are on the Lakey 1 Mike, heading towards Dizzy and Rosen, where we'll have to self-vector for the ILS because there's no controllers. Bit of a break in the cloud, and there is Morecambe Bay. Beautiful. Actually, that one will be Liverpool, I would think. Morecambe Bay is the one to the right that we're going over now. Let's have a look outside. Yeah, that's Morecambe Bay there, and that's Liverpool, the next bay along. This is ortho, by the way, looking very good indeed. Okay, I think we can assume there's going to be no controllers in Manchester, except the ground controller. There we are. So we can put the ground controller in for now. 121.85. That's in the standby. 13,000. We can start doing our in-range checklist. I think now a little early, but no great trauma.
In-range checklist. APU.
He will start that, first officer.
Started. Altimeters.
We are ready to change them.
3 set, cross-checked. Avionics.
We can't maintain the speed here, so we require a little bit of speed brake to give it a help. Avionics are set.
Set. External lights. On. N1
good.
target.
Okay, that's the important thing I was telling you about, the N1 target. So we're going to put a target in there of 91, which works well. Activate it. Very important. And now he does
APU PAX transition.
the pack transition over here.
Avail completed.
He does that.
Generator. On. CAS.
Messages are clear, just got a data link. That's all good.
Checked. In-range checklist complete. Before landing checklist next.
Okay, we've slowed to 250 knots. We're about to come to Rosen, so we're going to synchronize the heading bug, and we're going to work out where we need to go. So from Rosen, I would suggest we leave Rosen on a heading of around 120. Slightly to the left. All good. Yeah, I think 120 will probably do us. We could just join these together, to be fair. We can go to the legs and we could just join those up and execute it. And the aircraft will be aware of what's going on. We've got localizer one set, 109.5. Which it is. (232) on the course, which we're just changing here. Course 232. Alrighty, 230. I'm going to slow manually now to 220 knots. At 231 we can put the first stage of flap in. Here we are now. We're going to take a wider out than that to give ourselves some time. And we're going on a heading. Heading 7,000, and we're going to continue our descent now to 3,500. We can go first stage of flap, speed brake back to 0, and we're now on a heading 220 knots, coming down to 3.5, and we can now change from standard to 985. Okay, looking good. Oh, Manchester Centre's just come online. He may want to talk to us. (1 332).
Easy 4346, turning on to final, ILS, runway 23 right.
Easy 4346, Scottish Control, roger, continue T3 right, you're number 1.
Roger that, Easy 4346.
Scottish hello, calling you for a Manchester arrival. We're currently descending to 4,500 feet, self-positioning for 23 right.
5084 Victor, Scottish Control, thank you, squawk 2717.
2717 for 84 Victor.
Scottish Control, Osprey 1976 with you at 5,000 feet.
Osprey 1976, Scottish Control, thank you. Climb now, flight level 190.
Climb flight level 190, Osprey 1976.
Mike November with you, Michael 1 and 2 3 right. Easy 98 Mike November, Scottish Control, roger, hold Mike 1. Hold Mike 1.
2500.
Number 5084 Victor, turn right heading 170 degrees.
Turn right heading 170 for 84 Victor.
Very good. ATC at the last minute. And we're going to slow to 180. Give ourselves some time here.
Okay, it's 4469 Scottish Control, Roger. Descend flight level 180.
Next stage of flat come in. Just above the flat limiting speed there. Bit naughty. We'll get just under it. There we go. Done. Alrighty. That was a bit naughty. But there we are anyway. So looking here.
4346, true right, good land. The surface wind's 280 degrees, 7 knots.
Let's land easy 4346, thank you, bye.
19076, route direct Leldo.
Route direct Leldo, Oslo 1976.
12185, no tower. Okay, now see we have a Manchester centre popping up on VAT glasses. Very useful.
November 5084 Victor, turn right heading 195, clear ILS runway 23 right.
Turn right heading 195 and cleared the ILS 23 right, 84 Victor.
195 is the heading. And we'll arm the approach.
98 Mike November via Mike 1 line up 23 right.
Line up 23 right, via Mike.
4346, you're still partially on the runway, please vacate fully onto Bravo.
Sorry about that, I thought I was on Bravo, sorry. Doing that now, easy 4346.
Scottish Control, good afternoon, EGPH, Bravo Golf, passing flight from 90.
Easy 85 Bravo Golf, Scottish Control, thank you. Climb now, flight level 280.
Flight level 280, easy 85 Bravo.
Nav source.
Bravo 1976, climb flight level 220.
Not changing. For some reason.
220, Oslo 1976.
There we go. Now source localizer. That sometimes doesn't auto change, which it didn't then.
Request taxi to gate.
It has now.
Contact ground 121.85. Bye bye.
121.85, easy 4346. Thank you for the ATC. Bye bye.
So it's turning right, and we intercepted the localizer. 12 miles.
Radar Lufthansa 256, good day, I'm with you at flight level 260, Lufthansa 256.
Lufthansa 256, Scottish Control, roger, op bed 1 Mike arrival for Manchester, correction. Disregard the Lufthansa 256, this.
Okay.
Scottish Ryanair 824 Delta, good morning on handover. 824 down on Scottish Control, roger, climb now, flight level 280.
So we're going to try and vacate at Bravo Delta, and then on to Alpha.
824 Delta, climb flight level 280.
Fully established. Gear can come down.
24 Delta, flight level 280.
Just dot above.
Lufthansa 256, flight heading 285.
And we'll slow to 160.
Fly heading 285, Lufthansa 256.
And we'll take full flap. Okay. MFD data. 131 knots is our final approach speed.
Flight level 280.
Up to flight level 280, 43, Tango.
T98 Mike November, T3 right clear takeoff, surface winds 280 degrees, 7 knots.
That's the heads-up display of the Challenger, which is fantastic.
2500.
Easy 85 Bravo Golf, route direct Dolas.
So basically you're looking to put these circles on the end of the runway. and keep them within each other.
Golf route direct Dola.
160 knots.
Right, Dola, EGPH, Bravo.
Missed approach is climb to 3,500 straight ahead until passing 750. So we're turning right there and we're set at 3,500.
Descend flight level 9 is there, red nose 4469.
Murky Manchester.
Sorry, control 453 Tango, can you just repeat the level that you want us up?
Straight 453 Tango, come flight level 280.
4 miles, we'll approach to VREF speed.
280, roger, 453 Tango. Is he not that back numbers there for 2,000, 5,000?
No, wait for November Scottish Control, roger, climb now flight level 190.
Flight level 190 is right.
Lufthansa 25, disregard.
November 84 Victor is 3.5 miles, 23 right.
November 84 Victor, runway 23 right, clear to land, the set distance 280 degrees, 7 knots.
Clear to land 23 right, A4 Victor.
Roger, that's us. Got a slight wind from the right, but nothing to write home about. We're at 13 knots, we've got full flaps. Landing
Before landing checklist. Landing gear lever.
Down.
Down indicating. No steer.
1,000.
Armed centered clear. Anti-skid.
Done.
Armed tested. Passenger signs.
On.
Wing cowl anti-ice.
As required.
On or off. Continuous ignition. On. Thrust reversers. Arm. Stowed auto. Flaps.
Set.
Set. CAS.
Clear.
Checked. Before landing checklist complete. After landing checklist next.
Slightly late on the before landing. Autopilot is now disconnected. The aircraft is mine.
500.
We're now looking at the Pappies. 2 reds, 2 whites. Slightly low. Back on glide.
Approaching minimums.
Lufthansa 256, turn left heading 280
Minimums.
Land.
Turn left heading 280, Lufthansa 256.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Spoilers. Didn't make Bravo Delta.
76, route direct to Sitku. When ready, descend flight level 180 to be level by Sitku.
Route direct Sitku, when ready, descend level 180 to be level at Sitku. Hospital 976.
Okay, we come off at the next one. Alpha Echo.
Nordic 4469, descend flight level 60.
Descend flight level 60, Reynolds 4469.
Nordic 4469, a route direct to Rosen.
Right.
Alright, Rosen, Reynolds 4469. Control, good day, Air France 15 Romeo Alpha with you, descent 200.
France 15 Romeo Alpha, Scottish Control, roger, descend flight level 140.
Descent and maintain flight level 140.
84 Victor's vacated 23 right, going to ground 12185. Thank you for your service.
Stations at once, Ryder 824 Delta, further climb Unicorn 122 decimal 8, bye-bye.
Unicorn 122 decimal 8, goodbye, thank you.
Nordic 4469 Apache message.
Can you just confirm direct Rossum for not 4469?
It's 4469 8 direct to Rossum, Romeo Oscar Sierra Uniform November.
Perfect, thank you, not 4469.
And November 84 Victor, we're vacated 23 right at Manchester. Would you like us on tower or ground?
November 84 Victor, you can contact ground 121 decimal 85, bye-bye.
12185, thanks for the service, bye-bye. Manchester ground, hello, November 84 Victor, just vacated runway 23 right at Alpha Echo for the business aviation apron.
November 5084 Victor, that's no problem, taxi on Alpha, and yeah, in the posh seats.
Alpha to the posh seats, 84 Victor, thank you.
Okay, that's very funny.
After landing checklist. Landing pulse recog lights. Off. Anti-collision lights. Off. Continuous ignition. Off. Windshield heat. Off. Probes. Off. Wing anti-ice. Off. Cowl anti-ice.
EG5664.
On or
I put
off.
onto the wrong taxi.
Spoilers.
Sorry, but I'm gonna disconnect anyways. I just got in here for a little bit of practice.
Stowed.
Thank you very
Flaps.
much.
0.
That's not a problem.
ATC TCAS.
Yeah, if you need any help, let us know next time.
Alt on. Radar mode. Standby. After landing checklist complete. Engine shutdown checklist next.
Okay, so it's next left to the posh apron.
Sorry, last station calling, call sign only, please. Station calling for taxi, call sign, please. Taxi.
Is it behind there? It's entirely clear. Doesn't look much like an apron to me. Let's have a look here. Oh, it's in that little gap, it's there.
Config flaps. Config flaps.
Sonic 75 November Echo on Juliet Echo, request taxi.
Chase, 75 November Echo, 1 second, stand by coordinate.
Okay, parking brake is set. And there we have it.
Chase, 75 November Echo, it'll be departure from 05 left. So you're currently using the ECLAD 1 Romeo, it'll be the ECLAD 1 Yankee. Taxi holding point Foxtrot 1, straight ahead on Foxtrot.
05 left now on the Eclad 1 Yankee departure, Foxtrot 1, straight ahead on 2, Foxtrot Challenger 5 November Echo.
Assuming you can park in there.
1 minute Echo, taxi, holding point Papa 1, runway 23 right via November Charlie, Echo, Delta and Papa.
Okay.
Engine shutdown checklist. Taxi lights.
Right via November Charlie, Echo, Delta and Papa for Tomcat 19 Echo.
Off. Parking brake.
Set. No, it's not.
Set. Reverse thrust.
Alien
Stowed.
4606.
Generators 1 and
is
2.
Approved. Either way, your discretion.
Off. Engine 2 shut down.
Virgin 510 is ready for taxi.
Fuel boost pumps.
Virgin 510, taxi, holding point Juliet 1, runway 23 right via Golf and Juliet.
Taxi holding point Juliet 1
Fuel
for
system.
runway 23 right via Golf and Juliet. Virgin 510.
All stations standby coordinating.
Check. Engine 1 shut down. Check ITT below 350 degrees Celsius.
It is.
Anti-ice. Off. 14th stage. Off. Beacon. Off. No steer. Off. ATC TCAS.
Virgin 510, contact Manchester Tower 118.625.
Standby 0.
Manchester
Parking
Tower
brake if chopped.
118.625. Thank you for the ATC.
Off. Passenger signs.
Sonic 75 November Echo. My game is decided. I have no clue what's happened. I'm going to have to hold F4. I do
Off.
apologise.
Cabin differential. 0 PSI. Engine shutdown checklist complete. Secure
And there we have it.
checklist next.
November 84 Victor is parked at the Business Aviation. Thank you for your help.
Number 84 Victor, no worries, have a great day.
Right. So we're done. Thank you for your patience. That's our first stream. We got some of the idiosyncrasies of VR out of the way.
Wizz Air 12390, roger.
Hope you found it interesting. It's yeah, a bit of a challenge in VR, but we'll get better at it in terms of the streaming as time goes on. Problem is, of course, I can't see anything that's going on the stream except if I do this, which is to go to my streaming PC, which is a second machine, in fact, and I can look here just to show you our tilt streaming, which looks good. So thank you for this. We'll be doing many more streams, hopefully, and we'll see you again another time very soon. Thank you.
Unrated in 035.
Wizz Air 1239, descend flight level 120.